Shalom, family. We're not going to be long. I just wanted to come and chop it up a little bit about some of the things going on, and I have an announcement to make also. So it is good to see you, good to see each and every one of you, and I hope that, during this time when all of these things are going on, we can remain strong like a real Hebrew family. I just want to talk about a few issues that came up recently because I have quite a few people emailing me. And, when I had 20 and 30,000 subscribers, it was kind of easy to reply to people. But man, when you get over 100,000, it's next to impossible to respond to everything. I get so many emails on a regular basis, it's literally impossible for me to go through all of them all the time. It is just an overwhelming amount. Not all bad, but, you know, it can be overwhelming. So, shalom to everybody coming into the chat. Shalom to everybody. So, there's just a few things I want to touch on. Um, I got an email from somebody yesterday. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the works of arranging an interview with IUIC, the men that went out protesting for Kyrie Irving and they had that big, massive army on the street. Well, Bishop Nathaniel, trying to arrange an interview with him, hopefully next week, one day next week. And somebody wrote me an email saying, oh, he was a detective. Actually, he spoke about that. And my my thing is, when the enemy is attacking us, at what point do we unite and start putting our differences aside? We're going to always have differences. Let's be real. We're going to always have differences, right? So when we are being attacked by the enemy, at what point do we say, okay, although we may not see eye to eye on everyone, on every issue, when do we push all of that aside and unite? I mean, seriously, when do we push all of, because you know what? Other groups do that all the time. They can disagree with each other all day long. They may not see eye to eye, but when it comes down to racism, they will push everything aside and get on the same page. I have seen the Jews and Esau jump on the same page, and they could be at each other's throat, but they'll drop those differences and get on the same page. My thing is, why is that such an issue for us? So you don't agree with Bishop Nathaniel. So now I'm supposed to kick them all to the curb and they're out in the streets fighting. I mean, let's be real. Thank you, dark skinned brother. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Let's be real. None of us are out on them streets like these brothers are. None of us are. We're online and we're coming together, but we're not out there physically like these brothers are. Now, the person that wrote me that email, are you out on the streets fighting in protest? You're not doing nothing. You're just writing me and telling me to steer clear of this brother. I'm not going to steer clear of anybody that's putting in the good fight. right now. It wouldn't be smart for me to do that. There's a lot of people that don't agree with me. But one thing I can honestly say, I prayed to the Most High and I said, I don't know when, and this was a couple of years ago, I don't know when it's going to be revealed that we're going to be, that we are the real Hebrews. But when that does come out, I want to be in that spiritual fight. That's what I told our Heavenly Father. I want to be in that spiritual fight. I do. And it is a spiritual fight, y'all. Do you know they're behind the scenes trying to get the FBI on us because of us raising our voices about who we are? They're trying to get the FBI on us, just like they did the Black Panthers and Marcus Garvey. They're trying to get them involved to shut us down. Do you know that's going on? And you know how this government is. This government, when look, just think about this. The police departments in this country all have been infiltrated. They know the Klan is in there, neo Nazis. They know all these white supremacists are in the police departments all around this country. The FBI is fully aware of this. When have you seen them go out there and really put forth an effort to shut that down? Never, never. But when we come together and become a big force, they won't hesitate to come after us. Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, and we found out they were spying on Aretha Franklin when she was part of the civil rights movement. We know about the Black Panthers. They reared their heads during Move. Oh, they know how to come and make their presence known when it's us. But if they got to deal with these police departments being infiltrated, they don't do a thing. So you can see they're very picky and choosy on how they pick their fights. Thank you, John T. Harden, for your super chat. Thank you so much. That's how it is. They don't hesitate when it's us. But if it's anyone else, they all of a sudden, they'll talk about it, but they really won't do nothing about it. That's because the people in those police department look like the ones in the FBI. See, when they look like them, they don't want to do anything. You know, you know how many times I've received warnings, "Oh, don't listen to this person. Oh, don't listen to that person. Oh, you shouldn't listen to them because of this, and this. And you shouldn't do this. Don't listen to this person. They're a false prophet." You know how many emails I've gotten like that? But now that we're in this spiritual war, should I do that now? Or should we focus on those that have hijacked our identity? Which one is more important right now? Us being on the same page or us continuing to be divided? And I don't know why, for the life of me, some of y'all have a series, not all of you, because many of you are on the same page, but some of y'all, you just got too many hangups. How are you going to be in a fight for the Most High and you're always worried about what you don't like about somebody? Then how are you even a warrior for the Most High? How can you even be one? That's what I want to know. How can you be a warrior for the Most High and you got to hang up with the people that you should be side by side with? Then you can't really call yourself a warrior for the Most High. because you too busy worried about somebody that may have a difference of opinion or may be different. I don't agree with what all these guys be out on the street saying. But one thing I do know, they are out there on the streets fighting an enemy. And I was watching Bishop Nathaniel about 2 nights ago. He was on Jason Whitlock's, who I absolutely cannot listen to for a long period of time. Thank you, Danielle Meyer, for the super sticker. I absolutely cannot listen to Jason Whitlock for a long period of time. But he said something really interesting. And if I have him on, I'm going to have him talk about this. He said that while they were up at the Barclays Center protesting, several buses of Ashkenazi Jews showed up. They came up there to protest Kyrie. Now, this just go to show you, Kyrie done apologized multiple times, and they still want to go up there and mess with this man. So if they are so unforgiving, then why should we back off when we say we're going to speak about who we are? Why should we back off? They're not backing off of Kyrie. Well, he said several bus full of them showed up. They took one look at that massive army of Hebrew men, and they left. They left. They didn't even get off the bus. It scared them so much to see that many Black men together up at the Barclays Center. They took one look at them and they drove those buses the hell up on out of there. But they were getting ready to get off of those buses and picket Kyrie and go up there and try to make his life miserable. That's what they were going to do. So you can see apologies mean nothing. They are targeting him, and they're going to continue to target him. So if that's the case, then why do we need to back off when we say we know we are the real chosen? Why should we back off? They're not backing off, so why should we? That's all I'm saying. But yeah, they were so scared. When they saw those brothers out there, they didn't even get off the bus. They drove off. You can't even imagine what would have happened if they weren't there and they would have just got off that bus and try to harass the hell out of Kyrie. That's what they want to do anyway. We know it. But I promise you, they won't go picket Donald Trump. They won't show up by the bus loads up at Mar-a-Lago to picket Donald Trump for having a dinner with a Holocaust denier. They're not going to do that. But that's far worse than Kyrie putting a link out there. But they're in their minds, Kyrie is the one that needs to be picketed. I promise you, not nary one of them are going to show up in front of Mar-a-Lago to picket Donald Trump. And what he did was far worse. Yeah, they went to Crown Heights. That's right, Esther. They sure did. All right. Right now, the Most High can use anybody he wants as a vessel right now. Because some people, I've listened to your videos, oh, those are celebrities. Well, the Most High can use a celebrity. Why can't he use a celebrity? He can use an athlete. He can use Ronald Dalton Jr. He can use anybody as a vessel right now. If it's going to wake people up in masses, which it is doing now, and those brothers going out on the street, trust me, that video of them marching through the streets of New York got worldwide attention. the video went viral. It went viral of them marching up to the Barclays Center to protest Kyrie Irving's treatment. It went viral worldwide. And if that's what he has to do to get the attention of the world, and if this is the group he chose, it is what it is. I'm not going to fight the Most High on that. I'm not going to say, I don't like this people. I'm not doing none of that. We may not understand the reason right now, but one day we will understand. But one thing I can honestly say, look at how fast those men were able to assemble a massive group that size in a short period of time. I ain't mad at them. Because see, when your enemy comes at you, they gonna come at you in a crowd. They're gonna come at you in a mass. So wouldn't it make sense that he can get a group that can assemble like that quickly in a short period of time? Right? So he can use any vessel he wants. Because when you sit there and say, oh, well, all this is distraction, then what are you really saying? Are you saying the Most High will put a distraction together? I don't think he's like that. I don't believe our Heavenly Father is like that. I don't believe he's going to put a distraction together. Whatever he puts together, it's going to stick. Trust me, no one's going to forget that we are saying we're the real chosen people. No one's going to forget that massive protest, everything he's putting out there, nobody's going to forget. Nobody's going to forget that Kanye and Kyrie put out there that we are chosen. Nobody's going to forget what has happened to Kyrie for posting a link. Nobody's going to forget Ronald Dalton Jr. See, anything the Most High does, it will never, ever, ever be forgotten. So therefore, it can't be a distraction. Listen to me now. It can't be a distraction because everything that's being done is having a lasting effect out here. Believe it, it is. It is. So, no, he's not putting a distraction out here. He's planting a seed that these Gentiles couldn't forget, even if they wanted to. Even if they want to say, I just don't want to believe it, they're still getting that fact put right dead in their face. They are trying to do something about it, but what can they really do? Now, they took Ronald Dalton Jr.'s channel down. Thank you, Larry R., for the super chat. Thank you so much. I've seen one lead of a Hebrew group dragging other Hebrews. It's hard. Yeah, see, this is not the time for that. And that's what I want our people to understand. Yes, we are divided on issues. We are. And some people have made the issue so problematic to the point where they're not willing to push all of that aside and fight side by side with your brethren. And that's sad. That's sad. Okay. But trust and believe, they took him off of Barnes and Noble. And the thing is, I used to always shop at Barnes and Noble only because it was the bookstore that was closest to me. And I went in there quite a few times and bought books. I will never buy nothing from them again. So they took all of Ronald Dalton Jr.'s books and documentaries off of there. But here's the thing, you can go out there and pull up other Hebrew Israelite books. And that's what I'm saying, y'all. All you got to do is go out to Amazon and type in Hebrew Israelites. And if not hundreds or thousands of books come up on the subject matter. So if you take down Ronald Dalton Jr., you still got all that information out there. Thank you, dark skinned brother. Again, facts and truth. You're speaking, fam. Thank you. Um, the thing is, you still got hundreds, if not thousands, of other books on that same subject matter. So what are you really killing? And you heard what Ronald Dalton Jr. said when I was interviewing him. The books have been out there since 19, I'm sorry, not 19, 2014. And the documentary has been out there since 2018. It is asinine to make a big deal out of it now. Thank you, Donna Sheriff. Thank you so much. Shalom to you. Right? I mean, it's stupid to make a big deal out of it now. It looks silly. And it's having and y'all just look at what's happening. Before they would go out and these folks talk about name calling. I see all the name calling coming from them. And before they would say all that anti stuff and people would just go silent. If you notice, people are not going silent at all. Yeah, I just got the third volume of Ronald Dalton Jr.'s book in the mail about 2 days ago. And I'm still waiting for my fourth volume to come in. But as soon as I saw how they were behaving, I immediately went out to find out what the documentary was about. The very next day after all the stuff fell out about Kyrie, I went out there and purchased it. And I sat down and I watched it. And then I saw there was a second volume out there, and I purchased that one too. And then I got the books. It did not make me want to run from the information. Their behavior actually inspired me to go find out what was happening. And even when I interviewed Ronald Dalton Jr., everybody's reaching out to him. He's hearing from people worldwide. Now, think about this. What is more brilliant than our Heavenly Father using somebody like Kyrie Irving? The mainstream news is putting it out every day. You know how much free advertisement he got? Free, and it went out worldwide. In fact, I got an email from somebody from the Netherlands that wanted more information. I got an email from somebody in Germany. I got an email from a few people that were in South America. People all over the globe is getting the news. So it's almost like the more they pitch a fit out in the media, the more people are trying to see what the fit is all about. Thank you, AB Promotions, for your super chat. The truth is out. Thank you, sister. You're welcome. So something is happening that we never seen before. And that's people are running after the information. And they're trying to blame Kyrie. Kyrie just put the link out one time. They have kept us in the news for several weeks now. Now, what do you think is going to have a bigger impact? A link going out one time or them babbling about it multiple times on the news? I mean, what happened is priceless, and and I had to tell because Ronald reached out to me when Barnes& and Noble took his book down, but, he got other avenues on how you can get it, and that's what you gotta do, and, I'm not surprised they're making all these attempts to shut him down. Ladies and gentlemen, they don't want this out there. They don't want us saying the things that we are saying. Thank you, Brandon Cruisings. This makes my spirit smile. They kept their behinds on that bus. Yeah, they did. And like I said, when I have Bishop Nathaniel on, I'm going to have him tell you that story. Much love to you, Lisa. We got next. Yes, we do. And we will rule in righteousness forever. You got that right. And the thing is, another point I want to make is when we read the biblical text, many of you don't even realize you're undefeated because most of my subscribers have read the Bible multiple times. I have. I've read it 4 times. And some of you read it more than that. And you don't realize with that information and that knowledge, because you were willing to sit down and go through that Bible multiple times, you're already prepared for this spiritual war. And some of you don't even know it. You're already prepared for this spiritual war. And many of you have been war ready for years. You didn't just become that way now, you've been ready for years. So, don't shy away from people because you may have differences with them from the past. We all got differences. Trust me, there's a lot of people that don't even agree with me, and that's fine. But in this time when we are being attacked, I don't care what those differences are anymore. Now I'm willing to stand side by side with you for that good spiritual fight. Judah's Lion, thank you so much for the super chat. Hello, Sister Lisa. You are right. The Most High can use anyone he chooses. He turns the heart of kings to do his will. So he can use Kyrie, yay, and Bishop Nathaniel. Yes, yes. And Ronald Dalton Jr. That's why I was asking him during the interview. I said, did this take you by surprise? Because, I mean, look at all the years his stuff was out there. And now, I mean, it's like Hebrews to Negroes is on so many people's lips now. His stuff is being spoken about. And I know some people, oh, he heavily talk about Africa. Yes, he does, but you don't know what the reason is behind that and why. There's a reason why the Most High chose his material to prop up at this time. We may not understand it, but trust me, there is a good reason behind it. He's not doing this for no reason. There is a reason why this specific material got raised up at this time. Larry R., thank you so much for becoming a new channel member. Thank you. And actually, I was kind of impressed with some of the stuff he had in there because he brought up Dinah. And y'all remember when Dinah, how you doing, Tareen? When Dinah got raped, remember it was in Shechem. And it never dawned on me until he put in the documentary Shechem was right over there in Africa, and he showed Shechem. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I never thought about that. I never thought about Shechem, even being a place over there. But he showed that in the documentary. He found Shechem. And I have never seen anybody find the location where Dinah was raped, but he found that. So, I mean, there's always something to learn. I know, many of us are probably really seasoned, but I don't try to act all arrogant about that because, we still got a lot of people beginning in this walk. And I don't think you should get so arrogant that you don't remember how you might have started out in this walk. Many of us, we all had a starting point. All of us did. you know? But yes, there is a reason why. And like I said in the second part of it, he really breaks down blood types, DNA, and he gets heavily into it to the point where I was like, and that's why I said to him, I said, "Do you have a medical background?" Because he spoke so eloquently on those things that I never heard it that deep from anyone else. I've heard people talk about the DNA, but he really got into it, you know? And I never heard it that detailed until I watched part 2. And I was like, yeah, there's a reason why he chose this material. There's a reason. And I'm not about to fight that reason. I'm just glad the entire world is now talking about who we are. And there are a lot of Gentiles looking at the material too. They're looking at it. They want to know the truth. Everybody don't want to be in the dark just because certain groups want to keep everything in the dark. That doesn't mean everybody sees it that way. Everybody don't see it that way. He's a physician's assistant. That's what he is. He's a physician's assistant. And if you ever been to a doctor's office and there's a physician assistant, they can see you just like any other doctor can see you during an appointment. The only difference is they don't have a physical office. They usually work for or work under a doctor, but they literally, if you know your different medical positions, then a physician assistant really goes through the same kind of a training that a doctor goes through. Many of them do. Yeah, he's a physician assistant. Yeah, registered nurses are some of them are smarter than doctors. I've been sick and hospitalized before, and sometimes a registered nurse would pinpoint exactly what was wrong with me before the doctor did. I've had that happen. Sometimes these nurses have been out here for so long, they just know certain symptoms, certain ailments that are going on, and they can pinpoint exactly what's going on. I've had that happen multiple times, and I'm like, shoot, some of these nurses are smarter than the damn doctor. A nurse practitioner. Yep, that's right, Kwame. hmm You know? So it just goes to show you we really got some very intelligent people in all kinds of professions around us. We are far from stupid, but these the media and even many of these folks have talked down on us for so long. They have made the world believe that we are just dumber than a bag of rocks. And if you go look at statistics, Do you know when it comes down to testing in this country, despite the fact that they always make you believe like schools over in certain neighborhoods are better than others, do you know the best one taking tests and passing tests the most in this country are Black females? But they won't ever tell you that. Black women, Black teenagers, and Black women test the best in this country, but they'll prop up a whole different group of people and tell you they're the smartest. It's just like they try to mislead you about Black fathers. For a long time, oh, Black fathers absent. Yes, there are some that are absent. But there was a study that came out probably like 3 to 4 years ago, and come to find out Black fathers, even if they're not with the mother, are there for their children more than any other man. But we have had such a number played on us, and unfortunately, many of our own people believe whatever this mainstream media says. I stopped believing them years ago. I stopped watching them because I got sick of the negative press, and I knew they were manufacturing a lot of it. Oh, yeah, there's more Black men in college than white men. Go You can look all of this stuff up. And I believe a couple of years back, I did a video on that. More Black men are in college, enrolled in college around this country than white men. You know? I mean, if you don't go and seek the information, it's easy for you to just sit and believe anything. Mhm, mhm. In fact, my mother's oldest sister was a head nurse. She was a registered nurse, and she was the head nurse over at Grady Medical Center down there in Atlanta. She's deceased now, but back like in the 80s and 90s, she was the head nurse there. And she graduated top of her class when she was studying to become a registered nurse. She graduated at the top of her class. Worked for many years as a registered nurse and then eventually became the head nurse. Yeah, if you go look at the statistics, the one that tests the best in high school are Black females. They outscore Asians and white people. But if you look at the stuff they present to us, you would never believe it. Thank you, Mark Soul McGee, for the super sticker. Thank you very much. You were, oh, okay. Victorious spirit. You were born at Grady. See, there you go. Mhm. I mean, we are on, I think, a very important path. We're on a very, very important path. And all I wish for is us to recognize we have a common enemy and we come together. Right now, I'm not willing to split hairs on what I agree with or what I disagree with. I'm just not willing to do that. But if you want to concern yourself with those things and not be in the spiritual fight that's going on right now, you got every right to do what you want. But I choose not to do that. Yeah, if you talk with many of the black teens in high school, many of them are smart. Many of them are. I mean, we sometimes talk about how stupid these young people are, but when it comes down to school, many of them outperform those that are supposed to so-called be smarter than us. I've seen it even when I was going to school. I graduated in the top quarter of my class. I was in the top quarter. Now, I wasn't at the very top, number 1, but I was in the top quarter. Mhm. Many of us are intelligent. We know that. Come on. You know that about yourself. It doesn't matter what these folks try to tell you about you being dumb and all that stuff. When you have some level of intelligence, you know it. You know it. Mhm. I mean, and take notice to some of the questions that your children ask. And I'm like, wow, sometimes adults don't even try to inquire that kind of information. I used to be kind of floored at some of the questions that I would get. But yeah, I mean, some of these kids really are really the kind of questions they ask you. It's like, wow, when I was your age, I wasn't asking that, those kind of questions. But I realize the world is very different now than when I was coming up. But sometimes they ask questions that's pretty mind-blowing. I remember the first time my son saw coonism. So he saw a coon and he was like, "Why is he acting like that? Why aren't we all together?" And I told him, I said, some people, when they get exposure around other races, within our group, they try to emulate that because they think it might absolve them from the racism. And that's really never the case. And sometimes our opinions are different because, opinions are based on your life experience. And if we didn't grow up and live life the same way, we are not going to have the same opinion. No, no, we were looking at a different kind of coon back then. It was not Charles Barkley. It wasn't Charles Barkley. But he noticed the divisions very early on among our people. Mhm. So, unfortunately, y'all, just expect them to ramp up on the Shaquille O'Neals and the Charles Barkleys and, any of these folks within our group that are always opposing us. Stephen A. They're gonna ramp this stuff up. And they're gonna have these people come on the air and get more and more outrageous. Okay? So just be prepared for that. It's gonna get worse in 2023, and they're gonna say some of the most outrageous things about, because they don't call us Hebrews on TV. They still say the black community. And so they're going to come on there and say some of the most outrageous things about the black community. It's going to get worse. You see how bad it is now with Charles and Shaq and Stephen A. And they act like somebody pale don't do anything wrong. They're right about everything. That's how they act. Well, they're going to get worse with that. They're going to get worse. So just be ready, because they're going to utilize many of these people within sports music, acting, and they're going to be propping them up in our faces, always opposing us. And they're going to ramp this up. So just get ready. T Waller 333, thank you so much for the super sticker. So just get ready because it's coming. They're not gonna back off of this. They're gonna ramp it up. So I just wanted to kind of come together and just shout at y'all for a moment because I haven't done it in a while and I really need to do it more often. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to get in this spiritual fight together. If you go in the biblical text, when we came together, nobody could defeat us. Nobody. We were undefeated. It wasn't until we fell from grace with the Most High, that's when any and everybody could defeat us. But we are now past that 400 years, which means they're not going to be hanging on too much longer. How you doing, Lions Den? So they're not going to be able to hang on too much longer because we're past that time. Our time to pay is coming to an end. Are we completely out of it? No. Okay. If we were completely out of it, our punishment would not look, our freedom would not look the same as our punishment. And that's what's going on right now. But it's okay. We are coming out of it. So just remember that whenever we came together, we were undefeated. And it is still possible, even in these last days, for us to come together and the Most High have our back, and nobody can defeat us. If we did it once, we can do it again. And we just have to learn how to understand that everybody is not going to be in this walk. This is why we can point out the two-thirds like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and Stephen A. We can point them out. And you're going to be able to point them out even more as we get through 2023 and 2024. So hang in there, y'all. Hang in there. We know what the ending is going to be, right? So hang in there. So, everybody, I pray that the Most High keep his strongest, most powerful angels around you always in all four corners of the earth until we come back together again. Shalom, family.